Imagine a hunger so violent it feels like a fire in your stomach that never goes out. A hunger that drives you to lose your humanity. This is the story of Tarrare, the man who could not stop eating. Born in France around 1772, Tarrare's appetite was a medical nightmare. By his teenage years, he could eat a quarter of a cow in a single day, meat, bones, and all. And yet, he was still starving. Physically, he was a walking contradiction. He had an incredibly wide mouth with thin lips and stained teeth. Medical records state he could unhinge his jaw to fit huge objects inside. But the strangest part was his skin. When he hadn't eaten, his skin hung loosely around his waist like a belt. But after a meal, his abdomen would inflate like a massive balloon. He also emitted a foul odor. When he was full, a visible steam would rise from his body, and his eyes would become bloodshot. He was a human furnace, burning fuel at an impossible rate. Unable to feed him, his parents kicked him out. Tarrare was left to wander the muddy roads of France alone, a hungry ghost in the fog. He eventually joined a band of traveling thieves who turned his curse into a sideshow. Crowds would gather in the streets, holding torches, watching with a mix of horror and fascination. He performed for them, swallowing corks, stones, and entire baskets of apples without chewing. He wasn't doing magic, he was just feeding the beast inside him. When the war started, Tarrare joined the army, but military rations weren't enough. While other soldiers marched, Tarrare was found digging through dung heaps and garbage piles, fighting dogs for rotting scraps. He collapsed and was taken to a military hospital. There, he met Dr. Percy, a surgeon who realized Tarrare wasn't just hungry, he was a medical anomaly worth studying. Dr. Percy began his experiments. He prepared a meal meant for 15 laborers, meat pies, gallons of milk, and grease. Tarrare ate it all in one sitting, while the doctors watched from the shadows. Then the experiments turned dark. They gave him a live cat. Tarrare seized the animal, tore it open with his teeth, drank its blood, and consumed it, leaving only the bones. The medical staff was horrified. They had never seen a human being act with such primal ferocity. They continued testing him with snakes, lizards, and puppies. Tarrare ate them all without hesitation, claiming snake meat was his favorite. The military decided to weaponize him. They asked him to swallow a wooden box containing a secret message, cross enemy lines, and pass the box to retrieve the intel. But the plan failed. Tarrare was captured by the Prussians almost immediately. He was thrown into a prison cell, beaten, and interrogated as a spy. The Prussians dragged him to a guillotine for a mock execution. Blindfolded and terrified, Tarrare thought he was about to die. At the last second, they spared him and kicked him back to France. Traumatized, he returned to the hospital, but his hunger grew darker. He began sneaking around the wards at night, attempting to drink the blood of patients undergoing medical treatment. It got worse. He was found multiple times in the hospital morgue, trying to consume the bodies of the dead. The breaking point came when a 14-month-old toddler disappeared from the hospital room. An empty crib, a window blowing in the wind. The doctors knew what had happened. Tarrare had eaten the child. There was no trial. The staff chased him out of the hospital in a rage. Tarrare disappeared into the night, never to return to that city again. Years later, he resurfaced in Versailles, dying of tuberculosis. When he died, Dr. Percy performed the autopsy. The smell was so toxic the assistants had to leave the room. They found his body was hollowed out. His stomach filled the entire abdominal cavity, pushing his heart and lungs aside. He was empty. They searched his stomach for a golden fork he claimed to have swallowed years before, but they never found it. Perhaps it was just another lie from a desperate, starving man. Tarrare remains an unsolved medical mystery. A man enslaved by a hunger he didn't ask for, who died alone, remembered only as a monster. If you want to explore more strange history and true stories, Make sure to subscribe to The Strange Passage for more. Thanks for watching.